So after a weapon assessment, should your assailant go for his pocket, and you go for it too, and you find out he does have a weapon in that pocket, I'm going to keep my hand on there, not to try and disarm him, not to try and take the weapon out of his pocket, but to stop him from taking it out of his pocket. So I'm going to push down and in. That's with one hand. My free hand will be used to either go straight through his eye, or I'll use it for hitting, or my elbow for striking. I could also use a gouge, link on with my fingers into the jaw, and hook into this section of his eye. I can use my head for butting, all in the same sequence. I can knee him, and if I have to, as a last resort, I will push back and I will take out his airway either with a C grip, using my finger and my thumb here, and if I need to, I'll take out his throat and I will bite. We're talking about life preservation, your life. Worry about the welfare of the attacker afterwards. However, should he manage to draw the weapon out, then what we've got to do next is avoid the line of attack. From here, again, I will strike the eyes. Pain is a great distraction. I'll take out the eye. I'll slip inside his armpit. This is the first technique. It's a controlled technique. I'm away from the edge, I'm away from the point. I bring down his wrist and I hold it there. From this point onwards, if I have to, I can bring the weapon back toward the attacker. This is what we call our bargaining position. If he does not release the weapon, he ends up injuring himself on it. There we go. Okay, so if your attacker goes for the inside position of his coat, again, close the gap, keep it pressed down. One hand is always on his weapon hand. Not, again I have to repeat, to pull out the weapon, but to keep it pressed in, pressed right in. The other hand is used again for striking. My head can be used for butting, and if I have to take him out, again I can stick my teeth into his throat. My intention is to keep that weapon from being pulled out. However, if it is removed before we get close enough, stage 2, I must avoid the edge and the point of this weapon. Avoid the line of attack, basically. Again, I come through behind his arm. I manipulate his wrist joint. In other words, I push down. This is painful, but the intention I want is to bring the weapon back into my attacker. From this point onwards, I can keep it here. This is our negotiation point. I can say to him, drop the knife, or you'll get cut. He hasn't got a free hand. If he does try to attack me with a free hand, all that's going to happen is he's going to turn himself onto the blade. So you don't want to do that. Keep it here. What we've got here is a classic hold-up situation. The knife isn't moving, but it's very close to your throat. The attacker's in front of you, so you can see where he is. First thing I'm going to do is bring my hands up. This does two things. One, to him, makes it think I'm complying and I'm being submissive, but to me, I'm getting my hands very close to the weapon hand. Next, I'm going to engage his brain. I'm going to ask him a question. Okay, mate, what is it you want?
Your money.
Now, what happened there was, by engaging his brain and asking him a question, he just had to think about it for a moment. As he thought about it, that was my time to act. My hands were very close to the wrist. I grabbed his wrist. I turned the weapon away from me. So first of all, I'm avoiding the edge of the knife. I turn his wrist out, and I'm applying pressure on his knuckles down to this. I go past his shoulder, and as I do, I then bring back, because what you'll find is he will resist anyway when you get to here. As he resists and pulls back, I go with it. I draw the weapon back across the attacker. This is called a reversal. We basically reverse the weapon back to where it came from.